Hey everyone, how's your day been? Today we're going over the Xeno Shadow Dragons deck, so the Syn Shenron Xeno deck. We're going to go over the archetype analysis and a deck list I have made for it. Let's just get right into it and start going over the cards. So first of all, we have the Unawakened Sided Leader, which first of all has blocker. This is quite unique, however we will go over why it's important a bit later on, not right now though. And then it's got a auto, so when you activate a Shadow Dragon extra card, you and your opponent both mill one. It's great. This is half, like a little bit of a mill deck. I'm not sure how consistent the milling is, so I don't know if milling is going to be the main way you're trying to win, or if you're just milling to control your opponent's resources a bit. So it's a bit of both, whichever one it is, we will see once the deck comes out and people start testing it. Second of all, the second auto is it's attacking auto, so you choose one Black Shadow Dragon card in your hand, discard it. When this card's attacked, draw one, then switch it to active mode at the end of the turn. Now, not plussing off a leader swing early is quite rough. However, a lot of Shadow Dragon cards have a effect where they look at the top card of their deck, and then if it's a Black Shadow Dragon, you add it to hand. If not, you put it bottom deck, and that auto triggers when they're discarded or played. So a lot of the time you're just you're gonna draw your card, and you're not really gonna lose one. So it's like you essentially get a draw two and discard one, which is really really good on an attack. And then you go switch to active mode at the end of the turn, which means you still get the blocker effect. Then the Awakened skill is when your life's at 4 or less, or you have 7 or more Black Shadow Dragon cards in your drop, you get to draw one, untap one, and awaken. Then on the Awakened side, we still have blocker. We still have the same discard order when you activate a Shadow Dragon extra card. However, it's just your opponent that mills, not yourself. And then the attack order is a little bit different. So when you attack, you draw one, give your leader 5k, and at the end of the turn, you get a restand, so you still get to activate your blocker skill. Then we've got the activate main/battle, once per turn, spirit boost 1. Choose one of your Shadow Dragon extra cards in your hand, activate its activate main/battle skill without paying its energy cost. Really nice. We have a lot of really nice Shadow Dragon extra cards. And Spirit Boosting 1 isn't the worst cost. It's kind of like Mecha Frieza in terms of activating stuff for free. However, it's not life, it is unison. So it's a cost that you have once paid energy for kind of thing. So it's not too bad. And you're not taking your own life, so you're not able to use your life as a resource if your opponent doesn't go too hard on you, which is also important. We've got the Unison. The Unison is a 1-cost Unison, does not have a specified cost. Not super important with some cards though. None that are specific to this deck though. Is a 10k Unison that can attack whenever. Does not have a permanent saying it needs a certain amount of markers to attack. Now it has a auto when your leader activates a blocker skill, mill one, then add a marker to this card. So you're milling your own card. Milling your own cards isn't the best in this deck. There are the +1 on this Unison puts some back, but you don't ever really want to self-mill unless you're playing to overrealm or do stuff like that. So it's not the best, but it is not the worst either, I suppose. You get a draw one, and then you choose one card in your hand, and up to 3 Shadow Dragon extra cards. So you draw one, and you choose a card in your hand, and up to 3 Shadow Dragon extra cards placed in the bottom deck in any order. So you can kind of recover some of the cards that you mill. However, if you mill a battle card, you don't really have too much of a way of getting that back, unfortunately. But it is what it is. We do have the -7, which does get battle cards back. It is very similar to the Syn Shenron Leader, Yellow Leader, activate main for 6 energy, where you play 7 Shadow Dragons. This time the Shadow Dragons have to be black instead of yellow. But these ones here have to have different character names. And unfortunately, we haven't got all 7 of the Shadow Dragons yet in Xeno form. So we can't fully use this Unison to its best effect. Good thing to note though, it is good to invest into this deck early, because we will be getting more support for it, because we don't have all the cards for it yet. Anyway, let's just go on to the Syn Shenron battle cards. First of all, we have our semi-boss monster. It's not really a boss monster. It's more so just a good card to play. It is a 4-cost. Now, you can't cheat it out. You do have to play this card for 4, which is quite unfortunate. However, it is well worth you paying 4 for it. So it has this discard auto. I'm just going to call it the Shadow Dragon auto, or it has the skill. We're just going to call it the skill. So it's got the skill. Actually, Joey called it the scry skill in his video, so we're going to copy Joey, and we're just going to call it the scry skill. So it has the scry ability to, if your top card is a Shadow Dragon, you get it added to your hand. So I'll just read it out for the first time, and then from now on, I'm just going to refer to it as the scry skill or scry in some way. So if your leader card is a Shadow Dragon card, when this card is played from your hand or discarded by a Shadow Dragon card skill, you may look at the top card of your deck. If it's a black Shadow Dragon card, you may add it to your hand. Otherwise, place it at the bottom of your deck. So it only gets your Shadow Dragon cards. However, most of the deck is Shadow Dragon. I have made a deck list and only 8 cards aren't Shadow Dragons. Aren't Black Shadow Dragons. It does have to be Black Shadow Dragons, so it's pretty nice. Then its activate main once per turn is essentially the same as the leaders. However, it has 2 extra things that we get from it. So you get a switch of card to activate at the end of the turn. This is a blocker, so you get to activate the blocker skill as well, and you also get to mill one of your opponent's cards. So it's a little bit better than the leader. If you have to choose one to use, you always use this one, because this is that little bit better. This card also has Deflect, Double Strike, and Barrier, so it's great to clear unisons with. It's hard for your opponent to move. It's generally a good card if you can play it on 4 and you know your opponent will have an easy way to remove it, or your opponent can't kill you. It's generally not a bad play. Next we have Syn Shenron Power of Darkness. So it's a limit 1. If your leader is a Black Shadow Dragon card, when you remove a marker from one of your unisons using a Spirit Boost skill, play this card from your hand, and your opponent places the top card of your deck in their drop. So this is quite nice. It's a 1 cost double strike, 20k, which is nice. It also has the scry skill, so you essentially get to draw a card. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Let's just continue. So as I was saying, it does have the scry effect. So when you play, you also get to essentially draw a card, so it replaces itself, which is quite nice. So as you'll notice, a lot of these cards just replace themselves. Sorry about that. Moving on, we have the Syn Shenron Wicked Strike, which is a promo card, but no need to worry, it is not a tournament pack promo. It is in fact the premium pack promo, which means you just have to pay like $48, I think it is in Australia, to get your 2 premium packs, which gives you a bunch of packs and your 4 of these, instead of have to pay $50 each for these on release, because tournament packs, right? Once again, this has the scry effect, and it also has the same activate main / battle as the leader, and similar to the Syn Shenron Negative Energy Explosion. This is on a 1-drop though, so it's, if you need to activate 2 extra cards per turn, you can activate 2 extra cards per turn. It is quite nice. Now let's talk about the rest of our Shadow Dragon battle cards. Now this Haze Shenron is very, very good. I think this is one of the better cards in the deck. It's essentially like a 1-drop shooter card. It lets you just cheat out cards. So it has the scry effect, like a bunch of the other cards, but its activate main is what's really important. So the activate main for 1 black, you get if your leader is a Shadow Dragon card and you switch this card to rest mode, you can choose one of your Black Shadow Dragon cards with an energy cost of 3 or less in your hand and play it. So this tutors out the Syn Shenron that we just talked about, the Syn Shenron Power of Darkness, and it's also going to tutor out the other cards we see. Now, unlike the Lord Slug 1-drop, this doesn't get removed when you use the effect, right? It just gets switched to rest mode, which means early on your opponent doesn't have too many swings. So having your leader swing is quite good. Having your leader as a blocker, and a lot of the cards that you'll be playing off this Haze Shenron are blockers, so you just get more blockers kind of there to protect Haze Shenron to play more stuff next turn to keep getting effects. This Haze Shenron's really nice. Speaking of Haze Shenrons, a 3-drop Haze Shenron, this is a critical blocker. It has the scry effect, and its second autos, when this attacks, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards, send it to the warp. So like Gogeta TP, it just removes the card. Really, really nice card. It's only 15k, which is a bit of a shame. However, it's a critical, which essentially means whenever you swing at this with a leader, you're essentially always going to get rid of 1 card in your opponent's hand. Whether that 1 card is removed from them taking the crit, which essentially means that's 1 life that they would never see, or them comboing out of it. It's really nice. And then you just switch it back to action mode at the end of the turn, so you get to activate your blocker skill still. And then we have Natron Shenron Negative Energy Explosion. The Shenron's also a blocker. It's got Deflect, and it has the Scry skill. It also has an on-play auto, where when you play this card from your hand, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 5 or less, either in their drop or in their battle area, and place it under the card. Then you go choose one of the chosen card keyword skill, and this card gains that skill until the end of your opponent's next turn. So whether they've got like a heartfelt play in the drop, you can get triple strike, or they've got just something with barrier. You can get a barrier blocker, which is really barrier deflect blocker, really nice. Very good card. Something to note is if they do have a barrier card, which you won't of course be able to take from their side, but they've got a barrier card in the drop, and I believe you can target in the drop. I may be wrong. I think you can. As I said, maybe wrong. You can choose that, give it barrier, which means charismatic villain won't hit this because turn play autos resolve first. Anyway, moving on to some more Shadow Dragon extra cards. We have Natron Shenron Power of Darkness. This has somewhat similar of a scry effect. However, it doesn't get the on-play scry just when it's discarded. But this is okay because it has a different on-play auto. So when you play, you get to choose one of your Shadow Dragon extra cards in your drop and add it to your hand. Pretty nice, pretty nifty. You just get to add a Shadow Dragon extra card to your hand, which means you can use it. Don't know, there's not too much to say about it. Then we have the Oceania Super Combo, which is quite nice. So when you play this card, when this card is used in a combo, draw one and gets 10k. That's if you've got so that's a Sparking 5 is live, so you've got 5 or more cards in your drop, which you will have most of the time with this deck. And then you got an auto limit 1. You won't be using this auto too much, however, it can come in clutch in very unique situations where if your leader is black and you choose a black unison, when you remove a marker from one of your unison choosing Spirit Boost, you may place this card from your hand under the chosen card. If you do, give the unison a marker and draw a card. This won't be used much unless you need that one extra marker on the unison to use Spirit Boost to like mill your opponent out, to activate an extra Shadow Dragon extra card, to get that like one extra card out of your opponent's deck. Besides that, it's very rarely going to be used. And then we have the Oceanus Negative Energy Explosion Negate. You choose one card in your hand, discard it, negate the attack, and then play this card. Now, if this card successfully gets played, so it means it doesn't get God Sealed, it doesn't get like Vegito Unison or Omen of Awakening, or anything that stops it from hitting the field, if a card like Cold Bloodlust or Tyrannical Blow negates the skills, that's completely fine. It's just if it doesn't hit the field that this effect won't go off. And the effect is, for the rest of the turn, your opponent can't attack unless they mill 4, which is just insane. Because this is just like, this deck is trying to mill your opponent out half the time. If they swing through this, you have so many blockers. You've got this Oceanus blocker, you have all the other blockers I've shown. It's going to be quite hard for them to kill you. And it also has the scry effect, so you get to draw that extra card. It's really nice. Really like this negate. It can also go on any deck, which is a bit worrying, because it means deck like Cooler Mill can run it, which is rough, if I have to say the least, rough. Now, let's go over some of the Shadow Dragon extra cards. We have Ultimate Dragon Tackle, which it costs 2, but you can play it for free. Of course, as we've seen, it's got to activate main/battle. If your opponent has a Unison card in play, your opponent places the top card of their deck in the drop, which is lovely. And then your opponent may choose one of their Unisons, remove 2 markers from it. If they don't, you get a draw card and you get to warp one of their battle cards. As Spirit Boost is really prevalent in the set, if you're seeing a lot of new decks running around, this is a great card to have in your deck, as it slowly just removes markers from their Unison and makes it a lot harder for them to get their own Spirit Boost effects off, which is lovely. And then if they don't, you get to replace this card in hand, which is really good. Then you get to choose one of your opponent's battle cards and warp it, which means if you're doing this defensively and they're swinging like a comboed onto something, you get to just like remove the card that they attacking with, which is really nice. Now let's move on to the Ultimate Dragon Quake. This is one of the better extra cards. It is very similar to Hades Shenron, as it warps a battle card with an energy cost greater than your current energy, and it's activate main than your opponent's current energy to activate main/battle. However, the card does get played again at the end of the turn if your opponent has 15 or more cards left in deck. But it's still really good because if they're attacking with something and you don't want to deal with it, Spirit Boost 1, get rid of it. Really, really nice card. And then we've got some more extra cards. We have the Ultimate Dark Dragon Slaying Bullet, which is an SR. This is another Unison-esque counterplay. So it is only if your opponent's playing a Unison. So you don't want to play too many of these in your deck, but you want to have it ready for when they do play Unison. So it's kind of that awkward situation you put yourself in. But if your opponent is playing a Unison card, they may either remove a marker from it for every 2 cards in their drop and warp, or place it in their drop area instead of playing it. If they don't, your opponent can only attack 1 more time for the turn. So against a deck like Blue Baby, this isn't too important because they'll just swing a couple times, then play their Unison, then swing with the Unison, and everything's all good. However, if they're mismanaging their turn, or they want to play Unison early, this can really hurt that turn. Then it's got an activate main/battle. Your opponent chooses one of their battle cards. The energy cost less than the number of cards in the drop area and sends it to the warp. This is really nice. It's a really, really nice effect. If they only have like 1 battle card in the field, they essentially have to get rid of that battle card because they're going to have a lot of cards in their drop area. So it's quite a nice card. Next we have next two are Searcher effects. So negative energy explosion. It does have limit 1. A lot of these, I think every single one of these does have limit 1, so be wary of that. But got limit 1. If your leader card is a Shadow Dragon, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, and then choose 1 Shadow Dragon extra card among them, add them to your hand, and shuffle your deck. If you don't have a Unison, you get to play a Unison. So this is quite nice, as Unison is very important in the deck, and you can Spirit Boost the Unison away to play another Unison, +1 the Unison, so you essentially in the end get 1 more Spirit Boost, but it is a bit risky. And then we have Ultimate Whirlwind Spin, which when you use it, it looks at the top 5 cards. You get to add 1 Black Shadow Dragon battle card among them to your hand. Then you may choose 1 Black Shadow Dragon card in your hand, discard it. If you do, your leader gets 1k power for the turn. Now 1k power may not sound like much, however it is essentially 5k power when you talk about it defensively, which is kind of when it matters. It doesn't do anything offensively, but it does do things defensively, because it means if you're on 16k and your opponent's on 15k, you're safe. So it means your opponent essentially has to combo 1 card, and then to make you combo 1 card. So it is very helpful. But because it's a limit 1, it doesn't matter. That's only 1k, not 5k, because you can't do more than 1 of these per turn anyway. So it is definitely a nice card to have in the deck. It's like this deck's version of Senzu Bean. Anyway, let's just get right into the deck list. So we've been going on for 12 minutes. Let's just get right into it and see how the deck looks at the moment. Now, I don't have any Shenron Layers link or anything like that in description, because most of these cards aren't in Shenron's Layer yet. Let's just go right into it. So we have 4 Unisons. I think this is a bit of a no-brainer, as Spirit Boost is quite important in the deck, so you want to play the best Unison for the deck, and I do think that currently is Tower Resonance of Shadow, and we have 2 of the negative energy explosions. It's not the best as it searches for Shadow Dragon extra cards instead of battle cards. However, it is also a searcher for the Unison, which is quite important if you are missing the Unison. Moving on, we have 3 of the Syn Shenron negative energy explosions. We have 4 of the Syn Shenron Power of Darkness and 3 of the Syn Shenron Wicked Strike. We only have 3 of the 4-drop, as you're not going to play it too many times in the game, so you've probably got like 1 or 2 to play and then 1 to discard. We've got 3 of the Syn Shenron Power of, 4 of the Syn Shenron Power of Darkness, as it's great to play when you activate Spirit Boost, and then you can also play 1 off the Haze as well if you want to get a bit more pressure on the field with double strikers. And then Syn Shenron Wicked Strike, it isn't a super required card, it is definitely a good card. However, I don't think it's a 4 as you have better 1-drops that you want to play early, and this is more of just activating more Spirit Boost cards to mill your opponent out kind of thing. And it's how do I say this? Because you have to pay 1 to get on the field, it means you're like drawing a card, but then this activate main / battle, you're not really getting any benefit of this until you've used it at least twice, and at that point, it's like your spirit boosting more, so you don't have as many cards in hand. And by the time you're using it twice, you may be playing better off just playing the 4-drop, because the 4-drop's just better once it's on the field. So I'm not 100% sure how I feel about Syn Shenron Wicked Strike, but the card looks cool, so and it's definitely part of the archetype. Just don't know how many numbers of it to run. Next we have our Hey Shenron Power of Darkness. This I definitely think is a 4 of in the deck. I think it'd be somewhat crazy not to run 4 of it in the deck. It's just an amazing card because it can play either this Hey Shenron or the Natron Shenron, which were both at 3/3, or the Syn Shenron that we just saw above. Really good card. Definitely think it's a 4 of. I don't have these two as 4 ofs, as you don't always need to see them. The more so flex cards once you see this Hey Shenron, and we have currently 10 different targets for this Hey Shenron, so we've got a lot. So we don't need to have too many of each of these in the deck. Next we've got 2 Natron Shenrons. Now I have this at 12. I don't know how much I like it, but we will see. It does have the discard effect, which means it's just forwarded to discard. However, it can get us important extra cards out of the drop when we need them, which is nice and definitely somewhat relevant. So for now, I definitely think it's a good 2 of in the deck until the deck list gets refined a bit more. For super combos, this is the best super combo because you get it off your scry effect. Simple as that. You wouldn't run any other super combo. And then Ocean's Anus Negative Energy Explosion. I think it's a 4 off because it's the main negate in the deck. It does cost 2 energies to negate, but a lot of the time you've got the energies to negate stuff. So I definitely don't mind this one in the deck as a 4 of. And worst comes to worst, it's a charge. It's a scry effect target. It's just a good card in general. Next we've got 3 Ultimate Dark Dragon Slaying Bullets. Now I don't know if this is a 3 of or a 2 of in the deck. Having a unison counterplay when they play unison early is quite nice. However, a lot of time people can just choose not to attack, which does relieve a lot of pressure off you. But a lot of the time as well, they're going to play like 1 or 2 unisons a game, so you don't want to have too many of these. However, the activate main / battle effect is still nice, so it's definitely a worthy inclusion. Definitely as a 2 or 3 of. I wouldn't consider it a 4 of, but testing may prove me wrong in the future. Then we have Ultimate Whirlwind Spin. I think this is a 2 of. It's another searcher, so we've got like 4 searchers in the deck, 2 for extra cards and 2 for battle cards. I don't think you need it too much more of because it's a limit, so it's essentially kind of got a unique-esque effect. And you want to be using this on your opponent's turn, so I think a 2 of is honestly just a good amount of it. Then we've got 3 of each of these. These 2 are 2 of the better extra cards that you can be used on either player's turn. The Ultimate Dragon Tackle can remove markers from your opponent's unison, which is really nice, like really, really nice. And then having a Hey Shenron-like effect is also really nice to have on the Ultimate Dragon Quake. I definitely think these are both 3 elves in the deck. Wouldn't run them at less, probably wouldn't run it more either. And then we've got our final cards here, which aren't archetype cards. So we've only got 5 cards which aren't archetype cards, which is the 4 Hey Shenron Venomous Mist. While this is not an archetype card, it's still very good because it just needs a Shadow Dragon leader, and you need to discard a Shadow Dragon card from your hand. So you can discard extra cards, or you can discard one of your battle cards, which can then reveal the top card of your deck and add it to your hand anyway. So being able to Hey Shenron and not lose out on as many cards is really nice. I really, really like that. And then 2 Power Burst. I think Power Burst is too good of a card not to include, because you can get back Shadow Dragon cards that you can pitch later on, which is really nice. It is, however, another card which isn't a Black Shadow Dragon, so I'm not 100% sure how long it will stay in the deck for. If it's worth it, I definitely think it is worth to add there at the start to see just how what ratio of cards you can have in this deck which aren't Black Shadow Dragon cards. Yeah. Anyway, and then we've got the Secret Rare. I currently have this as the Secret Rare because you can get it off your effects because it is a black Shadow Dragon. It's just really nice. Now, this is a barrier blocker. Oh, sorry, it's a blocker. It doesn't have barrier, but it's a 40k, which is also just hard to remove. And it's a card you want to combo with, and then after you combo with it, you can play it for an extra energy. And if you do, you get to switch a lot of your opponent's cards to rest mode. Ooh, big yawn. Not your opponent's energy, but your opponent's leader, battle, and unison cards equal to the number of energies they have. So they have 4 energies. You can switch 4 of their battle, unison, or leader cards to rest. Really nice. And then the activate main for 4 essentially makes it a boss monster, which is really good. In total, we only have 8 cards in the deck, which you don't get off your scry effect. So I've got 2 power bursts, 2 Syn Shenrons, and if we go all the way back to the start of the deck list, too far there, we have 4 unisons. That's it. So it is a fair bit, but it's not too many, so we'll see how that ratio works. Quick note, this activate main here, it also can play the secret rare if you mill it early, which is quite nice. Note, if the secret rare leaves the battle area, it gets removed from the game. However, if it gets placed in the drop from any other area, then this -7 can bring it out, which is honestly quite nice. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you want to see from me next, and I'll catch you guys next time. Have a good one.